Yo, I don't know what's going on. I've come back to the gym and all of a sudden I'm talking like an American. What's that? Oh, fuck, this dude's funny. This dude's doing the Donald Trump over here.
Getting bits from the Minging communal tub of Vaseline.
You go popcorn and everything. This fella.
So obviously, injury has completely changed the training up. You know, in the first 4 weeks post-surgery, it's not even just avoiding contact training. I've had to really avoid explosive movements, anything that might jar my jaw, you know, like you shadow box fast, that shoulder meets the chin. There's no point risking a re-injury. But I can be bitter about it, saying I can't get my rounds in, but every injury is a fucking opportunity to do something. So whilst you're just training, no injuries, you're getting rounds and rounds and rounds, sometimes you just get into the slog of doing rounds, thinking I've got this many rounds, this many rolls this week, brilliant, oh, that sorts itself out. But it's an opportunity to pull back, see shit from the outside, make connections you wouldn't otherwise see, and just work on a fucking whole load of physical elements I wouldn't have time for. I've gotten into a lot of weight carries. I'm doing crawling every day, as mad as it sounds. There's shit I was watching, like Edo Portel videos from 13 years ago. I remember watching them as they came out 13 years ago, and I'm watching them again. There's as many rounds as you do, as much as you're pushing on in your pro career, you've always got to have that base, just as a human mover before you can do anything else. And it's kind of having that attention on that as well. Bicep curls and chocolate milk every day. I've been fighting so long and then just jumping back into spars very quick and just getting carried away. I've always been the guy who gets a ridiculous amount of rounds in all disciplines by the end of the week, like 4 or 5 hours of live rounds. I always think I'll take 2 months off of sparring after this fight, and then it turns into 2 weeks because I get carried away. But I'm just going to be a lot smart about how much I spar and how much I drill, because who knows, it could have been pre-existing injuries or something. It wasn't the biggest shot in the world, it wasn't blocks or anything, and then suddenly there's like a break in the jaw. Could have been some kind of stress fractures built up over title fight camps, running back into sparring really quick. Who knows? But I'll definitely be more intelligent with the sparring. There's so many stuff I've brought away physically from what I've been training now that I'll just keep doing all the way through fight camps.
Rounds were good, yeah. It's the first one's back. I'm glad get some in again. Obviously I had the cut, so I had to take it easy for about 3 weeks.
Shit, yeah.
It's good to get some rounds in with Harry and that. Obviously Harry's looking sharp as ever. He's gonna win the title without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. So he's looking great. Joe's looking good as well for his Cage Warriors debut. He's fighting a good guy. I think Joe's going to be too good, too skilled. I think he'll make the statement. So MFA is going to be on top come May 25th, Newcastle.
But notice how kind of on the retraction of the jab, I don't want to jab, stop, go, too slow. Whilst my hand out there after the jab, it goes.
I know, too early, man. Can't even remember what fucking drill it is.
It's fucking like 10:30. How was that too early? In San Diego, you were getting up at like 7 or 8.
Yeah, but I was obviously to the camera, I was going to say it was earlier.
No, it's fucking, it's
Yeah,
10:30.
No, I'll tell you what it is. I haven't had enough caffeine. And I'm coming in, I can't remember the drill. He's like, oh, let's do southpaw, let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like, fucking hell, mate, I need a coffee. Which I actually have, but it wasn't strong enough. And now look.
Yeah, so obviously there's tons of Afghans at the gym who speak his language and have seen on this interview that he's been saying I'm weak, which is good news because he's a fucking gas bag. So if he's going to try rag me about, try that 5 rounds, he's going to fucking die. I'll probably chuck him about, to be fair. I might grapple him just to prove a point. Also, he's been saying that he'll be the first Afghan Cage Warriors champ. Fucking needs a history lesson. Abdul Muhammad is the first Afghan Cage Warriors champ. He won that belt 20 fucking years ago. So Zafar's wrong there.
7th of March 2004. I took the title and I came in this country. I was here only maybe 3 years when I came in England. I took the title and I defended, and I left the Cage Warriors as a champion. Then I moved on to Cage Rage. When I took the title, he probably was, there wasn't even born, or I don't know how old is he. I don't even know how old he is. Yeah. They're just chatting shit. The first Afghan champion. No man, I was the champion. You weren't even born. Yeah, go Google Abdul Muhammad, you find out who was the champion.
Has been saying that when he wins this belt, he'll go straight to the UFC. Yeah, because the UFC who didn't sign George when he won the belt, didn't sign Vucenic straight away when he won the belt, didn't sign Paul Hughes straight away when they won the belt, is going to sign this stumpy fucking uncharismatic plank. Too zaif fast too, motherfucker. Stiff, kind of panicky grappler. Southpaw. Doesn't particularly set his stuff up well, lunges a lot, not particularly technically proficient. You know, I'll give him his credit. He's probably going to be like kind of strong in the first 4 minutes, but I don't think over the course of a 25-minute fight he's got much for us. I've watched a fair few of his fights. In like some of his earlier fights, he fights exclusively in an orthodox stance, which is kind of weird. So I'm not sure if he's like left-handed, right-handed, I don't know. And in fairness, I don't really care. He's getting bashed. Like, he's getting smashed up. I don't think he realizes how bad this is going to be. Like, but I don't know, if he thinks this is his big break, he's going to be in for a fucking rude awakening on the 25th.
What's it going to mean to you getting that Cage Warriors belt?
Oh, it's going to be such a fucking huge moment of validation. You know, like, obviously when George won the belt, it was a massive validation for the gym. But just to produce another Cage Warriors champ, it'll just be huge for this, like, rickety old gym with dodgy electrics and a knackered roof above Linthorpe Village. Above Boots in Linthorpe Village. And it's just... I've had a fucking hard path in my career. You know, I've had setbacks, I've had, like, needlessly hard fights early on, I've had this, I've had that. So it'll just be like a big moment of just like where I will just take a second to sit back and kind of just appreciate what I've done. But for now, the work's been done. Training as hard as I can, keeping everything smart, dialing in the game plan and just making sure I'm peaking right on time to put on a fucking good show. But I genuinely think as well, like, this has come at the right time in my career where I could actually kind of like, I'll be able to enjoy it and be kind of present. Because in like earlier fights where I was just some deluded fuckwit who thought he was the best in the world despite having 4 amateur fights or whatever it was, like, I just wasn't really present in the fights. And then I went through phases of like putting too much pressure on myself and being like this nervy sort of like nervous and tense during my fights. Whereas now I am just like, I'm living in them and I'm enjoying them. Like, I enjoy the whole process. I enjoy weight cutting. I enjoy all the media stuff. Like there's not one thing about fighting I don't enjoy. I'm so fortunate that this is something I get to do at this level.
How did you get from that point to where you are now?
Many, many years of having hard fights and, you know, like lots of disappointments as well in my career. Lots of disappointments, lots of just stuff like that where I've just been like honest with myself. Like, I don't do any of the self-talk bullshit that you see some people do. I don't try and delude myself in my training. I'm just honest with myself and I'm just kind of like accepting of everything about the experience. Like, I know that fighting is very tiring and just if you look at it objectively, it's a physically horrendously unpleasant experience, but there is just something so enjoyable about it and I can't wait to just go in there on the 25th and just smash fuck out with this guy and just love life.